This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm George Kamel, host of the Fine Print and EntreLeadership podcast, joined today by none other than Rachel Cruz, best-selling author and all-around great person. Rachel, it's so good to be with you.
Thank you. You know what John Deloney says when I host with him?
What does he say?
All-around great human being.
It's true.
I'll take whatever I can get, George.
I try to. Well, Ken likes to say colleague, and that feels a little old-timey to me. So I'd rather say friend, great person. She's a mother.
Ken Coleman is like a solid 85-year-old.
He's an old soul.
In the heart. I know.
Yeah.
But we're pals.
Yeah. Oh, he loves to say pal. My pal. Well, Rachel, this is a first milestone day. First time that we have co-hosted The Ramsey Show.
I know, George.
It's a distinct honor.
When I saw it on the schedule, I thought, yes, me and George.
You were legitimately excited?
I was.
Okay. That makes me feel good.
Because you're great, George. You're driving, you're doing the whole thing.
I'm doing it.
I'm excited.
No training wheels.
I know.
So it's
great. It's great.
You've had a big couple weeks. Number one, you went to Disney.
I did.
And I don't know if you loved it more than the kids did.
Oh, man. It is the happiest place on earth. People will argue that. But I'll say what made it so fun is our girls. We left baby Charles at home. So we took the 6-year-old and the 4-year-old. And the 4-year-old was just at 40 inches. And if you know anything about Disney World, you got to hit that 40-inch mark, and then you can do most everything. Anyways, they were just game on. I mean, they did every roller coaster. They did Tower of Terror. They loved it. And
Little Caroline did Tower of Terror?
Oh, we got down, and she was like, Mom, Tower of Terror is so crazy. My stomach was all the way up, and she pointed to her throat. I was like, I know, isn't it the craziest feeling?
That's amazing. That's a proud mom.
Fireworks, there's something about being there, even as an adult. I tear up at the fireworks because the song that plays, and all the old movies are flashed on the castle. They do this crazy projection, and it makes you feel like you can do anything.
Childlike wonder and joy.
It makes you feel like anything is possible. Anything, I can chase my dreams. Anything is possible. So
Rachel, you're living the dream.
That's how I felt.
This is so great.
That's how I felt, George. But thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate that.
I knew it'd light you up, and I wanted to start off the show on a good note here. So it's a free call this hour, 888-825-5225. I almost threw 11 numbers in there for fun. 888-825-5225. Rachel and I would be happy to take your call about pretty much anything. I mean, we'll give it a shot.
Why
whatever
not?
you're going through. Sometimes people call and they just need some affirmation. They go, I think I know that this is the answer, or I know what to do, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
That's right. Absolutely. Well, and it's about everything. And that's what I love. I love the format of this show because I love diving into people's stories and problems or celebrations, all of it. And we kind of get just a 4-minute little insert into their life. And so we just want to talk, and hang out and ask good questions, hopefully, to you, the listener, to get you to think and give, some guidance on what we've experienced over, a few decades of doing this.
Oh, yeah. Not your first rodeo, Rachel. Well, I'm excited. Let's do it. Let's go to the phones. Tyler is in Tallahassee. Tyler, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing great. How can we help?
Hey, so I have a kind of a conundrum right now in my life. I work full-time as a maintenance guy, and I own my own business. I have a small blueberry farm, and my farm is almost to the size where I can say, you know what, let's just forget maintenance. We're going to do farming full-time, but it's nice to have two incomes right now, and I'm kind of torn as to what I should do, but at where I'm currently located, in my job, I'm as high as I can possibly get. I cannot make any more. There's nowhere else for me to go. I'm already as high as, I'm going to be paid for basically the rest of my career here. And so I'm kind of on the fence of whether I should make the big jump into, own my own business and become my own, boss, or stay where I'm at. And I'm only 26 years old, so I'm kind of 26-year-olds are not supposed to be making these decisions right now. I'm
yes, you are. You're doing it.
You're crushing it, man.
Tyler, you're killing it. Okay, so my question is, I think I know the answer, but I'm going to just ask, what do you want to do full-time? Do you want to be in maintenance full-time, or do you want to do the farm full-time?
Oh, I would love the farm full-time. I love it.
Yeah.
So what do you make at your full-time job? in maintenance?
Around 41 right
And that's
now.
the max that you'll ever make.
Yeah, we get like a 3% raise every year, but that's just cost of living. So, but yeah, I'm as high as I'll ever make.
Okay. And what's the farm bringing in right now?
So this year was our first actual crop. We probably netted about 40. Next year we're going to net around 60, and that's just, this is only like 10 acres. So, and I have a lot more land that I could expand on if I didn't have, 40 hours a week that I was working as a maintenance guy,
Yep. Well, Tyler, whenever we talk to people that have kind of this side thing that they love and it gets built up to a point to transition full time, Dave always says that it's not like this leap of faith and just picture like a boat and a dock. And we don't want you stepping off the dock into water. You want the boat close enough that maybe it feels a little uncomfortable. It's a little bit of a stretch, but you can still get on. And these numbers, Tyler, like if you were saying, I'm making 15 grand at the blueberry farm and I think I want to jump into that, I'd be like, let's give it a little bit. But you've proven it, and obviously proven a level of business because you're going to be growing next year. And so, yeah, I mean, if it's comparable to what you're making now, that's kind of the perfect situation, Tyler.
And you said that you're going to miss this extra money from having two incomes. Where are you guys at financially? Are you out of debt completely? Do you have an emergency fund?
Well, we do have emergency fund, and that's part of it's taken us a lot of money to get to where we are. We owe a little on our house still, probably like $100,000. I just bought a truck that I basically had to. We got it used, but we still owe I think $20,000 on it. And then the farm has its own, debt. We did it with like a LLC to, completely separate to where if something was to happen to the farm business, we would never, we were not putting our house up against anything, so we wouldn't lose our house.
So you've got farm debt plus the truck, other than your primary residence, your mortgage.
Yes, just a little bit, probably like 30 grand left on the farm. But my hope is next year to pay that off using some of that extra. So I'm not. It's kind of a twofold deal because I'm like maxed out on my physical strengths right now. Like I cannot, I can't expand. Off of working 40 hours a week full time as a maintenance man also, what I mean?
Well, I think part of the pinch
every
here...
night on my blueberry farm.
Yeah, I bet. You're hustling, man. I'm proud of you. I think what you need to do here, you got to get out of debt. We got to get rid of the truck loan. We got to get rid of this farm debt so that when you go down to one income, you're not freaking out. There's not anxiety around it. You don't have your budget's not too tight. That's what's going to set you up for success. So if I'm you, I'm keeping this full-time job until I can get out of debt. And as soon as I'm out of debt and this farm is bringing in some steady income, I'm going to take that nice little walk off the dock, Rachel.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's a great point, George. Because again, setting yourself up well, having two incomes right now, you're going to be able to grow this farm. It doesn't have to be tomorrow. It can be in 6 to 8 months once you pay off the truck.
Yeah. And the blueberry farm, that just sounds like a nice life, Rachel. If I could just jump today, I'd probably start a little blueberry farm.
I love blueberries. I do. Yeah,
that's great.
Sounds awesome.
Way to go, man. Hey, this is The Ramsey Show. Give us a call, 888-825-5225.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
4, 3.
George Kamel, joined today by Ramsey personality, best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruz Show. You guessed it, Rachel Cruz. This is awesome, Rachel. It's been a big week for you. Your wallet is one of my favorites, and here's the thing. I'm biased towards the color camel for obvious reasons, but you released a new color this week that's very exciting.
Yes.
What is it? Release it to the world if they don't know yet.
Oh, guys, I'm so excited about this. So it's by popular demand. This is the one color that people were asking for. So we were like, okay, we hear you and we will deliver. But it's called Classic Brown.
Ooh, nice medium brown there.
Yes, I know. So this is really, I think, a perfect gift for people. I wanted it before all the holiday craziness happens. I was like, I want to get it out before, because if you have a lady in your life, if you are a woman and you're like, you know what, I want to make budgeting just beautiful and fun and stylish.
There's a lot of ugly wallets out there, especially, and here's the thing, we preach the envelope system.
That's right.
And you have built-in slots, which is incredible.
That's right.
For each category.
Yes. So with this, yes, there are 4 slots for your cash specifically, and lots of debit card and card space for membership cards. All of
debit card.
I know. But it's great because we partnered with Join, which is an incredible organization in India. And they employ people out of really just hardship there in that country and teach them a skill and a trade. And they're the ones that truly make these. And each wallet, too, I love that you get a card with the person who made it.
That's so cool.
So you get their signature. But it's authentic, handmade, really, really great quality. I mean, you can probably smell it
amazing.
from here. I know it does. I mean, it's
Wish you could smell that
so
on the
good,
radio.
you guys. Yes. So, again, if you want to get this for a lady in your life, if you are a lady and you're like, I want this for Christmas, so make sure
nudge
it's available.
Nudge your husbands, your man, and say,
right.
hey, here's an easy gift.
Here it is. Yep. So it's available to order now. We'll ship in early November, and so you can text RC Brown to 33789 to get all the information here on the new Classic Brown wallet.
I love it. We had the founder of Join come speak at a devotional for our team.
Wasn't she
She was
great?
absolutely incredible, and hearing the stories and the impact and how passionate she is about this, it just made me happy that we partner with cool people like that.
Yes, and there are incredible organizations out there in the world. That's kind of what I don't know. I feel like it's more than ever, it seems like, but Join is definitely one of those that you're like, okay, when I purchase something like this, like obviously it's going to help me with my budget, my money, everything we talk about, cashing out certain categories in your budget, helping you stay on track. But literally this purchase helps someone on the other side of the world. And it's, I don't know, there's something powerful about that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on that.
you.
Open phone lines this hour, 888-825-5225. Jamie joins us in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Jamie, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, how can we help?
So I've been listening to you guys for the past couple of weeks, but I've yet to read and look into the steps for financial peace, I guess. I'm 19 years old, and I plan on buying my first duplex pretty soon, but I'm going to be purchasing with the mortgage. I plan on, I've been hearing from a lot of you guys to stay out of, debt, but I also heard from other sources to stay out of bad debt. So I was just curious, what is the difference of, bad debt and good debt, I guess? I mean, I plan on renting out both sides of the duplexes, so I'm going to have some cash flow on top of it. But, yeah, I'm just pretty much curious on that, I guess. That's pretty much.
Yeah. So, Jamie, I'll say what the world says, what the culture is saying when they're saying, quote unquote, good debt. It's usually in purposes of an investment. You know, people say, well, student loans are good debt because it's an investment in yourself. They'll talk about a mortgage being good debt, or if you're taking debt out on your business because you're going to make money. So that's the way the world kind of operates when it comes to this system. But here at Ramsey, I'll just tell you, we're pretty weird. And so we say all debt is bad debt. Now, a mortgage, I'll say this with the asterisk, a mortgage is the one type of debt that we will not yell at you for on your primary mortgage. So other than that, though, and the reason why, Jamie, is because one of your largest wealth building tools out there is your income. And for a lot of people, 78% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck, and the money comes in, their income does, and it's going out on average $500 something to a car payment. They're paying their student loans. Average family has $16,000 of credit card debt. I mean, their income is leaving, so there is no margin in their life to do things like giving, investing, saving, even spending on what they want. In order to do those things, they have to go deeper in debt, right? So it's like this cycle that ends up playing, And then what we have found too is over the course of time, that cycle just wears on you emotionally, spiritually, financially. You're just not able to seem to get traction. And so the idea of avoiding debt completely gives you power, it gives you control, it gives you choices. When you don't owe anyone anything and you want to quit your job and move to another job, you can, because you don't have bills. Like there is something powerful when you don't owe money to anyone. That would be my take. And George, yeah.
Well, Jamie, the thing is, the people who tell you there is such thing as good debt, they don't pay your bills. You do. And so when it comes down to debt, really it's stealing from your income. And so I know you want to get into this duplex and you're 19. I mean, that's very impressive.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And I think it's awesome that you want to do this. But I would challenge you to go against the grain when it comes to pretty much anything society says. So when it comes to good debt versus bad debt, yes, we do believe that all debt is bad because it steals from your income that you work really hard for. Do you have any debt right now?
I mean, I went to trade school, and I ended up paying it was like $25,000 total. So yeah, I do have debt, but I make $80K a year. So it's like,
wow. What do you do? I'm curious.
It was an investment. It's HVAC, so heating, ventilation, air conditioning. But wow. I mean, that's why I didn't look at it as like too terrible, and that's why I'm calling you today, because exactly, like, if you guys think that like investments, like if you're buying a mortgage to like maybe make some more money, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like, say I get the house for under market value and it's worth more than I've paid. Like, that's what I was pretty much curious about, honestly. Yeah. You guys helped me out a lot. Yeah. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, absolutely. And I'll just kind of tack on to that, Jamie, too, that, when it comes to people try to play the math game so much when it comes to life and money, right? And so that idea, hey, I'm going to, people say, well, I'm going to borrow on my mortgage because I can actually put that money in the market and borrow against my house because the math works. I can make more in investing, or I'm not going to pay off my mortgage because, there's a math games that we can play all day. But one thing, Jamie, just to note that people do not take life and risk into consideration. People don't take in 2008 when the market completely crashed, the housing market, and people that had these mortgages that thought they were okay went into foreclosure. People didn't factor in a recession where entire industries were out of work. I mean, there are things that happen in life. So when you don't have debt, even a mortgage, but when you don't have debt, you don't have risk. And there is something about that is huge. And even the student loan idea, and I know you went to trade school, you said, and you took out money and it was an investment in you and all that, which is great. I don't want to shame you for any of that, but also pushing people to think differently, to know that I can actually go get an education. I can actually go to trade school and do things that I don't have to take out debt. So we really do here at Ramsey, we push against these messages, because what we have found time and time again is that people live with this debt and it eats into their income. And then it eventually is this thief that it steals your peace of mind, it steals your sleep. And again, there is something powerful when you don't owe anyone anything.
Yeah, Rachel, and we talk about this all the time, but the quickest way to building wealth is to get back your greatest wealth building tool, which is your income. And so, Jamie, I think it's awesome you want to get this duplex, but you're telling me how you have this debt and you're wanting to get into this investment property or your primary residence. So I would challenge you, with this amazing income you have, pay off all of your debt first. Get a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses if you don't already have that. If you do have some money sitting around, attack the student loan debt first. That's baby step 2. I know you've been listening just for a few weeks now. Baby step 3, you're going to get that emergency fund in place. And then we call it 3B, is where you save up for that down payment on that house. And we want you to do that on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage with a payment that's no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. So a lot of numbers there, but all of this is so that you can win with money, so that you don't have this anxiety and burden in your life when you're trying to do too many things at once. So that's the way to do it, man. You're 19, you're making a great income, and shout out to the trades, man. $80K a year, 19 years old, because you went to trade
Jamie.
School.
Amazing.
Way to go. This is The Ramsey Show.
Stop paying your overpriced wireless provider and switch to Pure Talk. They use the same network as the larger providers for much less. For just $30 a month, get unlimited talk, text, and 6 gigs of data with no contract. The average family saves over $70 a month by switching to Pure Talk. Just go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. Pure Talk, simply smarter wireless.
3.
I am George Camel, Ramsey personality, joined today by Ramsey personality Rachel Cruz, and on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions, we've got Jason and Katie. How you guys doing?
Hey.
Good. How are you?
You excited to be here?
We are. So excited.
You guys are just a cute couple. I'm excited. I'm pumped for this story. Where are you guys from?
I'm originally from Georgia, Valdosta, Georgia, and Katie's from Hattiesburg, and that's where we met.
Awesome.
Very nice. Okay, so how much have you paid off?
$130,000 in 22 months.
Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Okay. And what was the range of income during this time?
I started out at 110, and then from there we moved up to around 155.
Heck
so
yeah.
that's where we're at now.
Okay, so whose debt was this?
All mine. All student loans.
All student loans.
All student loans.
So was Katie on this journey, or was this kind of a solo journey and she came along?
It started out as a solo journey, and she came along after that. We got married back in July. We met 2 years ago before that and everything. So
Okay,
Newlyweds.
everyone listening cannot see you. Obviously, people on YouTube right now, because you guys you look young. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 27
and I'm
Katie's
22.
27 and
Wow.
22. So you are debt free at
We're debt-free.
27 years old.
Yes, ma'am.
What kind of
Amazing.
debt was this?
So this was all student loan debt from my grad school, really. 10,000 of it was undergrad, but the other 120,000 was from cardiovascular perfusion school.
Whoa.
So I went to Nebraska, and perfusion school is not cheap.
It sounds expensive. I just learned that word, and it just feels like an
it feels
expensive
like
word.
six numbers.
I owe you
come
money every
together.
time I say it. So what is that?
So basically, it's a small field not a lot of people know about. We operate the heart-lung machine during heart surgery, keep the blood
Oh,
flowing.
yeah.
You know, we're basically the heart and lungs for a patient whenever we go on bypass.
Okay.
We're essentially the bypass, for them. And it's
Wow.
a small field. It's less than 4,000 perfusionists in the United States total.
So that's what you do full time, obviously, because you're making a great income.
Yes, ma'am.
And Katie, what do you do?
I'm in grad school for accounting.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Some smart people here on this stage.
And
I
Katie
love
went
it.
to school debt-free completely, and now she's got a GA position, which pays for her school too, which is awesome.
So
That's
you're going grad
incredible.
school debt free too. I assume so, because you guys are on the debt free stage together. So that's amazing, Katie. Well done.
Thank
well
you.
Done.
This is amazing. So 22 months ago, you were sitting there with $130,000 in debt. Most people just go, I'll pay it off when I die, right? What made you get on this journey 22 months ago?
So it was really 4 years ago. I started listening to Dave Ramsey and stuff like that. And whenever I was in perfusion school, I was in Minnesota, on a rotation there, because after our first year, we have to go on rotations. And when I was in Minnesota, I was mountain biking one afternoon, and I love to do anything outdoors. And, after a long day at work, that's what I was doing. And I was just like, I've got so much debt, and I've got to get a plan figured out for something. So for that entire year, every morning when I was going to any of my rotation sites, I would listen to the Dave Ramsey Show. I'd listen to the podcast, and I was hearing all these people talk about their debt-free streams, how they paid X amount of income, they had whatever job, and they were doing it. And it was a little bit of debt, and some people it was a ton of debt, and it was just like, I know I can do this too. And so my motive was, right after I graduated, a ton of people in my class, or not a ton of people, but a few people, they went out and bought houses, they went out and bought new cars, some of them went and bought pets, like all these things that add up, nothing wrong with pets, dogs are expensive sometimes. But anyways, so a lot of people went and bought a lot of stuff, and I was just like, I don't want to be one of those people. I want to be one of these weird people, So basically what happened was I took this job in Hattiesburg. It was a good income, and Mississippi's pretty cheap to live at. And so, with that, I was just like, I've got to I've got to figure out a plan. And so my plan was, you know, in Total Money Makeover, Dave talks about, you know, pay off your smallest debt to your largest debts. And I had my undergrad loans, which were $10,000, you know, so I paid those off in the first 2 months I started working. And then after that, I had 4 loans that were $20,000 a piece, and I just started chunking away at each one of them one at a time, you know, I'd pay off $20,000 and then be like, oh, this is exciting, let's do another $20,000. And I just kept it rolling. Every month I'd pay a minimum of $5,000 on these loans, and I had my check split where 25% of it would go on my bank account that I used, and the other 75% I knew it was just going to go straight to the debt every month. So
That's
I wouldn't
incredible.
get like sidetracked with that. And so then the biggest one was like $37,000, you know, from Perfusion School, and that was the last one, and that one was the most difficult, you know, really. But what I would say what really, you know, helped a lot. Those first 6 months were extremely difficult, you know, because everybody else was buying stuff. I wanted to go play golf all the time. I wanted a golf membership. I wanted to join the country club, all this stuff. And I was just like, I can't do that right now, maybe afterwards, but not right now. And so there's 2 things that really kickstarted after those 6 months that made me like, okay, I'm kind of seeing the light in the tunnel. You know, COVID happened. And, you know, that was really bad for a lot of people, a lot of businesses. And I hate that for everybody. But really, for me, that was one of the best things because, you know, everything was shut down. I felt like I wasn't missing out on anything. We were cooking in a lot. You know, I'd go see Katie up in Starkville. We'd eat in. You know, she'd come to Hattiesburg and we'd eat in. You know, we couldn't go out to eat. And so that was a lot of what we did. And we couldn't go to concerts, couldn't go to football games, nothing like that. And so it made it a lot easier. And, you know, the president put the student loans at 0%. You know, so I told myself, I've got to put $6,000 away every month. It was a little more difficult, but I just made sure it happened. And then we started talking about marriage, you know, and so I told Katie before we got married I was going to be debt free and have 6 months of my emergency expenses saved up, and we did it. You
Wow.
know? And she was a great supporter.
Katie, were you just so attracted to him? Were you like, man, this guy is absolutely going to take care of all these situations? Literally, there are so many couples that they are not on the same page. And I talked to a lot of women, and they just are begging for their husband to get on board. Like, I just want my husband on board. And man,
yeah, it was awesome. We had to think of like a lot of things to do without spending money when we were because we started dating us like right when you graduated.
Yeah,
so he was paying off his loans, and so we would go do a lot of outdoor things and cook in, like he said.
You lived like you were broke, so that later you could live like you're not broke.
That's right.
It's the best.
We did a lot of like, you know, up in Starkville, we'd go hiking. We'd drive to North Alabama, go hiking. I mean, hiking's free.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything. So that's a lot of what we did. Now it's one of our favorite hobbies.
That's incredible, man. So any other cheerleaders in the story? Obviously, Katie was probably the biggest.
Yeah, Katie was definitely the biggest. My family was definitely supportive of me as well, and her family also. A lot of people thought I was crazy, like trying to pay off all this debt. They just looked at me like, there's no way you'll do that. Like, good luck, but that's not going to happen. And I was like, if I set a goal, I'm going to accomplish it.
Don't challenge Jason, man. Don't get in his way.
It's impressive, but even the things you set up, Jason, like having 75% of your paycheck going straight, right? Like having all this even manual so you can't get in the way, right?
That's
You're
right.
like I'm going to put things in place
That's right.
to protect me from myself, right?
Absolutely.
But it's impressive. And you did it in less than 2 years.
Yeah.
And there is something, and even the student loan thing, when I went to 0%, like you took advantage. A lot of people took their foot off the gas and said, awesome, I get to just coast. And instead, you did such a smart move of stepping on that
Letting it
even
propel you
more.
forward.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
And another thing, too, that I failed to mention was, you know, at my clinic that I work for and all, so we get access to the doctor's lounge. And they include, and everybody's going to laugh when I say this, but they include like free meals for us for lunch, you know, every day. And so what I would do is I would eat half of my lunch at work, take the other half home and eat it for dinner. And people would like say all kinds of things. You know, they laugh at me, thought it was the dumbest thing. And I say, I'm trying to get debt free. This is free. This is part of my salary. So this is what I'm going to do.
Who's laughing now?
That's right.
Sometimes we would share it. He'd like bring it home and we'd share it for dinner.
This is lovely.
Y'all
It
are
brings them together.
Y'all
Well,
are
let's
the
get to
best.
it, guys. We've got a copy of the Legacy Journey for you. That's the next step in your their very young lives and a copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to pay it forward to maybe another young couple who's starting out their life with student loan debt. So let's get to it. Jason and Katie from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, $130,000 paid off in 22 months, making $110 up to $155K. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free! Woo!
Yeah! There it is. Look at the smiles on those faces, Rachel.
I love it.
That's as good as Disney World in my book.
It is. Well, that's life-changing.
I love seeing
That's
young
amazing.
couples start off their
man.
married lives on a good foot.
So
On a
good.
good foot. This is it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Four, 3.
I'm George Camel, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined today by none other than Rachel Cruz. You know, Rachel, we just heard a great debt-free scream about paying off $130,000 in student loan debt. And this is an absolute crisis. You've dug into it a lot. I've dug into it a lot. And if you're not strapped with student loan payments, the odds are you know someone who is, someone that you love, family members, friends. Millions of people are putting their lives on hold. They can't buy a house or have kids because they feel stuck. Or even worse, they're waiting and waiting and waiting for the government to save them with student loan forgiveness. What a joke. So our team has produced a brand new feature film documentary called Borrowed Future, and it is finally out. It uncovers the dark side of the student loan industry and exposes how the system is built to work against you. You'll see Dave Ramsey weigh in on the epic failure, otherwise known as the student loan program, along with featured interviews from industry insiders and thought leaders like Seth Godin, Seth Frotman, and Dr. John Deloney. We are coming at this issue hard, folks. We're taking big swings at the student loan industry with the goal to arm parents and students across the country with this mind-blowing truth. You do not have to take out loans to get a college education. You can be a student without a student loan, and you can graduate debt-free and avoid the predatory student loan industry. So go watch this thing. Borrowed Future is available to watch now on Apple TV, Amazon Prime Video, Google Play, or at borrowedfuture.com. We are taking your calls this hour, 888-825-5225. We're happy to answer them. And Carla is in San Antonio. Carla, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help today?
Okay. So my spouse and I were currently wrapping up on baby step 3. We'll be done at the end of the month. And as we start preparing for the 15% into retirement, I have a question about volatile income. So we have some side hustle income, and my spouse is a new real estate agent. So I was wondering, is it okay if I take my fixed salary and save 15% of that, and then take the side hustle money and throw it at the mortgage? Or how I how do I balance that into the 15%? I guess is my question.
Okay, so you have your full-time job and you have some side hustle income, and you're saying, hey, can I invest just my full-time job and not the side hustle income?
Right, because it's so volatile. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a great question. We tell people to invest 15% of their household income. That means any money coming in that year. So if I'm you, I'm taking 15% of the side hustle income, and I assume you're still going to have margin left over because you're debt-free with an emergency fund to still put that money towards your next step, towards the house. Is that right?
Yeah, well, kind of. Yes and no. I was thinking, sometimes it's a good income, sometimes it's not a lot, and so just a little extra towards the mortgage and really attacking that would seem, I don't know, like a better use of time, I guess. I don't know. I'm not really sure how that would work.
Do you guys have kids, or is it just you two?
No, we have two kids.
Okay, so we also tell people after the 15% to be investing for the kids' college. Have you guys? Will you guys plan on doing that after you're investing 15%?
Yes, that's the plan.
So it sounds like you might need this income not for paying off the house right now, but to at least make sure we've got the kids' college taken care of first.
Okay.
So I love I can tell that you are very excited to pay off this house, and I'm in that stage now too in baby step 6. We don't have kids, so we're not as worried about college at the moment. But what I'm telling you is to take 15% of that side hustle income, and you're still going to have 85% of that side hustle income to put towards your other goals. And you should have margin in your full-time jobs to put towards those other goals. So if I'm tracking with you, you've got a few steps before you're getting to the house payoff.
Okay. So then how do we take the 15% of the volatile income? How do we do that month over month if it changes?
Well,
so we're not really sure of what that looks like. So do we just take another 15% off of that as well?
Exactly.
And put it away?
Yeah, if $1,000 comes in, well, you're going to take 15% of the $1,000. If $100 comes in, you're going to take 15% of that $100.
Okay.
So that keeps it simple, and that way you're not racking your brain each month.
Yes. And Carla, my husband and I, because I'm on mine and some of his is a lot of commission based. So there's some months that is much larger than others. So we'll even true up at the end of the year. We try, be as consistent as we can. And then we'll look at the end of the year to make sure, hey, did we do the 15%? And if we didn't, we have a money market account to the side, and we will pull, we make sure it's that 15 and beyond, because we're on baby step 7, but making sure that that's hit, because again, sometimes it is hard. I understand it's life and it's crazy, and months just fly by, and sometimes you're not as diligent every single month. So just truing up at the end of the year too, just to double check, is something that we do as well.
Carla, how much of your take-home pay is this house, the mortgage payment right now?
How much of my take-home pay is the mortgage?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure. Our mortgage payment is about $1,800 a month, and we make at my full-time job I make $93 a year.
Okay, and that's not your full household income, or is it?
No, so that's what we kind of live off of. Like that's what we've been doing. So we live off the full-time income, and then all this side hustle volatile income is what we've been saving for our emergency fund. And then so now what we're trying to do is okay, how do we, I guess, capitalize on this fact that we have the room to just live off of one income?
Yeah.
So my $93 a year covers all of our expenses, everything. And then the rest of it, we're just wondering, can we just really take that and be aggressive and throw it toward the mortgage? But, I guess what I'm hearing is that we need to take also 15% off of that and throw it into retirement and baby step 5 as well.
Yeah, don't forget about that baby step 5 for sure. And the reason I ask is to make sure that this mortgage payment isn't just eating up your entire income to where you don't have that margin. So you're doing the right things. We just got to add that step in for college, and that the mortgage payment will come, and you'll get rid of that thing in no time with your gazelle intensity that you guys have. So I think that's awesome. Andrew joins us in Indianapolis. Andrew, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Rachel and George. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely. How can we help?
Yeah, so just a quick question. My wife and I are on baby step 3, and we've got about $5,000 in our emergency fund. I'm in a commission-based job, and so a lot of my pay gets deducted at a 22% tax rate, which we are not anywhere close to that. So I did some calculations, and our tax refund is going to be pretty large, pretty substantial, and it will complete our baby step 3 in March of 22. And so I was just wondering, do we just continue filling up that baby step 3, even though it's only $200 to $700 a month? Or do we go ahead and stop and start investing like we're in baby step 4, 5, and 6, knowing that emergency fund will be complete in March when we get our tax refund?
Yeah, I wouldn't wait until that tax refund comes in. I mean, you guys sound like you're on this plan. I would keep saving up for that emergency fund, and when that refund does come, you can use that towards your next steps. So maybe that's a down payment on a house or whatever that goal may be. And then obviously you're going to be investing that 15% of your household income into retirement once you have that emergency fund. But I don't want you waiting till March. That's 6 months from now. You guys could be way further along if you just do this thing on your own.
Yeah, absolutely. And the great thing is keep chipping away at it, because when that check does come, if you guys haven't hit your savings goals, again, you know that check's coming. So when it does hit and you actually have the money, then you can say, okay, great, here's a couple $1,000 from that refund that we can put here. And then we can throw a big lump sum maybe into an investment, or like George said, if you guys are saving up for a house. So you're going to be able to use that money. But still, I would still, because something could happen in January and you're going to need an emergency fund. That's what it's there for, right? It's there for when life happens, or not if, when life happens, because it will. So that's awesome that you know you'll be getting this refund, and that you will have some cash.
Can you not adjust the withholdings?
No,
this is a forced 22%.
I've tried. I've contacted every HR department that I could.
Wow. I just don't like the government holding on to your money interest free. I don't like that at all.
You and me both. But all right, well, thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for the call. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I think, it's a great question that he asked, because I think for a lot of people, whether it's a bonus, an end of the year bonus is coming, a tax refund, a chunk of money's coming, but to still be diligent in the moment to say, okay, I'm still going to work this plan. It takes intentionality, but then when the money does hit, then it's great. Then it's just the cherry on top.
I just love when things are in your control and you can just decide to save up for that emergency fund instead of hoping, waiting. I don't like that at all. I'm impatient, I guess, Rachel. Who knows? Well, that puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to our board engineer, Ben Hill, acting producer, Kelly Daniel, and many other people that keep this show afloat. Of course, my co-host, Rachel Cruz, and you, America. Thanks for listening in. We'll be back with you before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
4, 3,
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Kamel, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership Podcast, joined today by the amazing Rachel Cruz, best-selling author, her latest, Know Yourself, Know Your Money, a smash hit, some would say.
Some would say.
It's so good. I love it. I love what you dug into with this stuff, because we had a lot of the tactical, here's what to do, here's the plan.
Yep.
And in this book, there's a ton of research about these money classrooms. What are those?
Yes. So the book dives into really why we handle money the way we do. And part of that is our upbringing, right? The household you grew up in was your classroom. It's where you learned life lessons. Some lessons we wish we could probably unlearn, right? But some lessons you just naturally take with you into adulthood, and money is one of those. So there is the anxious classroom, the unstable classroom, the unaware classroom, and the secure classroom. So these all have to do with how money was verbally communicated, how money was emotionally communicated, whether it was stressed or peaceful. I mean, all of these, it kind of makes this this quadrant, if you will. So I talk about each of those classrooms in the book and how the good sides of it, the bad sides of them, and how to really get to this place where you're like, okay, I'm in a secure money classroom, which is where you're emotionally calm and verbally open about money in your current nuclear family.
That's big. And, we're big fans of counseling around here. And counseling 101, you find out what happened in the childhood and what was the relationships like with the parents. And it's amazing how much health you can gain with your money when you realize that and go, oh, that's why I do this.
Yes, absolutely. And money, we say it around here all the time, it's usually never about money. Usually there's things underneath what's going on, whether it's a motivation you have, a fear you have, a relational issue you have, but sometimes it comes out as a money problem.
Yeah.
And so it's fascinating to kind of dig under those layers, because like you said, when you become healthier as a person and you can navigate, okay, why I do certain things, then you can change your bad habits into better ones and kind of figure out how to navigate with the cards that have been dealt with, to you, and the same is true with your money.
That's fascinating. We see that on the Ramsey Show a lot. People call in with a money question. It turns out it's a relationship question.
That's right.
And so we're happy to take those calls. 888-825-5225. Me and Rachel, we will dig with a scalpel to the root issue to help you out. And James kicks off this hour in Salt Lake City. James, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing great. How can we help?
Hey, so I've got a question on student loan debt. So my wife and I have been paying off, we're on baby step 2. We've paid off about $27,000 in 18 months.
Nice.
And with the, thanks. Sorry. So it's been an emotional journey since the current administration put the pause on student loan debt. We've taken all that stuff since we're debt-free except for student loans, and we've been dropping it into savings. We've got about $10,000, and since things are starting back up, we're wondering, should we dump all of that into it or save a little bit, kind of like baby step 3?
So you're saying, can I skip and leapfrog to baby step 3 while I'm still paying off the student loans?
Yeah, when they paused the interest and everything, my wife and I gauged out the risk of the potential of them doing the $50,000 forgiveness. And if we were dumping everything into it, it'd be a loss. Whereas right now, since there's no interest, we're putting it into savings. So that way, if it didn't get wiped out, we could just put all that into the student loans.
How much do you guys have left, James?
$37,000.
Okay. Well,
you may not like our answer, James. I wouldn't.
I know.
It's okay. I mean, I feel like you knew it a little bit. But here's what I'm going to tell you. I would not bank on the government to forgive your student loans, whether it's $10,000 or $50,000. I want you to take control. There's a level of mojo that you get back when you decide, you know what, I'm going to handle this thing. I can get out of this, and I don't need anyone's help other than my own work ethic, my own sacrifice to do this. So you've got $10,000 saved. You have $37,000 left in debt, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if you want to do things the Ramsey way, and I don't say that because I'm a Ramsey man, I say it because it's the proven way that people have gotten out of debt, the people that you hear on these debt-free screams. So what that means is you're going to be setting aside $1,000 of the $10,000 for your baby step 1 starter emergency fund, and that's going to leave you with $9,000 to throw at the remaining $37,000, which by my math takes you down to what, $28,000?
Correct.
And how much do you guys make a year, James?
$45,000.
$45,000. And do you guys have any kids?
I've got 2 little girls, and we live with our in-laws right now, so we've got about $13,000 we've been putting into our savings each month.
$13,000?
Oh, sorry, no, $1,300. I'm so sorry.
I was like, man, that's incredible. Let's get rid of these student loans. Okay, so you're.
I would love
I'm
to
curious.
have $13,000 to put in every month.
So your expenses must be really low.
Yeah, so we just have like our basic stuff. We don't have any car loans or credit card debt or anything like that. It's just student loans.
Yeah, I mean, can either one of you maybe take on a side job and try to get a little more income while we get these student loans paid off?
Yeah, so we just paid off probably about $5,000 in medical debt. I drive Uber Eats on the side, and so that's really helped with that. And so now all that can start going towards student loan debt as well.
So, James, what do you guys do if you're making $45,000 household, you and your wife? What do you guys do?
So I actually work in sales and account management for a company here in Salt Lake. My wife doesn't work right now. Just some stuff that she's going through right now. She was a school teacher. We're on a waiting list for a sweat equity home building program. And they just recommended, because she's not going to work once we get into it, that she wasn't necessarily working when we got into that program.
What's that program about?
So essentially, it's a sweat equity program where about 10 families get together through a nonprofit, and we actually build each other's homes. It allows us to get into a home for about $200,000 on a mortgage for a $400,000 home. So it's just a good option.
And she can't. And do you have to be at a certain income in order to qualify for that?
Yeah. So we'd still be within the income, but they said since she won't work when she's up there, They just didn't recommend that she work when we were on the application.
James, yeah, I don't know. I'm not liking this.
I don't like the fact that you have to limit your income.
I know. This feels odd to me. Yeah, I know, but James, you can get you can get an incredible mortgage or incredible house. It doesn't have to be a $400,000 house. What I'm feeling is that you're yielding to other people. You're yielding to the government to pay off the student loans. You're yielding to this program for a home. James, you and your wife can do this. You guys are smart. You can be self-sufficient. You can rent for a little bit, move out of your in-laws, let her work. You guys get this income up, wipe off the student loan, save up for a down payment. I mean, y'all can live the American dream. You can do this.
Yes, I'm getting excited just hearing Rachel talk about this stuff. You can do this, man. Put the ball back in your court.
Yes.
Don't limit yourself. Don't limit your income. Don't wait on the government. Take control. Bring up that income. Get rid of these student loans. Live life on your terms. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
4, 3.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, Ramsey personality, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership podcast on the Ramsey Network. Joined today by Rachel Cruz, host of The Rachel Cruz Show, also a wonderful show you can find on the Ramsey Network. And I had the pleasure of recording a segment with you yesterday for the show.
I know, we did one. Ooh, about buying. It's going to be a great one.
Oh, how companies are going after your money and how you can protect yourself.
Yes.
Take control.
It's good. Because, I mean, people think of Ramsey as like, oh, yeah, y'all are cheap and you don't spend any money and all that. We're like, no, listen, we are all about creating a life that you love. Yes, you will cut your lifestyle down and be cheap when you're getting out of debt and getting an emergency fund. There is appropriate times for that, but then there's also times that you get to celebrate and actually enjoy, but you still, even then, don't want to waste your money. And companies know how to market so well to you, where you spend and you almost don't even realize you're spending more than you should and all of it. So George, you're the expert on it and we broke it all down.
You and I, we're bougie.
So fun.
Like I don't like the word
nice
cheap.
Things.
Okay, I want my single origin coffee, and you like to shop and travel and have all these great experiences.
I like to say inexpensive, not cheap.
Yes, affordable.
Inexpensive.
Affordable.
We can do that.
Well, that's what we're here for. We'll help you with your money problems, your money questions. We'll celebrate with you. We love to do that here on The Ramsey Show. And we are going to the lines this hour. We've got Sarah in Terre Haute, Indiana. Sarah, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, thank you for taking my call. It's great to talk to you guys.
We're happy to talk to you.
Thank you. My husband and I are on baby steps 4 and 6. We do not have children, so we're not doing baby step 5. I recently was terminated last week from my 20-year career as a college instructor.
Wow,
I'm so sorry.
Sarah. Was it unexpected?
Yes, I opted out of the COVID vaccine, and I had a religious exemption, and they still, because of that, were unable to use me moving forward. So it was considered a termination. I'm meeting with an attorney. He's asking me if he's able to help me legally. What should I ask for in terms of being terminated, and if that was a wrongful termination, should I ask for obviously my job back? But if that's not an option, he wanted to know, would I want retirement? Would I want, wages? And I just wondered what your thoughts were on how to approach that.
Well, would you want your job back if they offered it to you?
It's a sticky situation because being unvaccinated, that's not a favorable position to be in at that particular employer. So,
that was my guess, was that even if they offered it back to you, which would, I don't know, it feels like a pipe dream at this point, or do you want to even be with that employer again? Or are there job options out there?
Well, I'm currently applying for other job options, that are comfortable. I did have a religious exemption that was accepted, and it still didn't work out for employment. Well,
as far as the severance goes, have you talked to anyone else who's been in this situation to see what they ended up with, if anything?
No, this is an unusual circumstance in my little community, and I don't even know what a severance package looks like or, what that would entail. So he said, other than my job back, what type of negotiating things would I ask for if this is deemed, not making reasonable accommodations? And I don't even know what that would be. Like, would I ask for salary, retirement? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like usually when there's a termination with severance in a company, I mean, obviously companies can do what they want, but considering how long you've been there, 20 plus years, I mean, having a year's worth of income, I feel like is...
Yeah, that sounds fair for that length of time.
Yeah.
Like Rachel said, they can do whatever they want. But if they want to be kind and do a nice thing, I think a year's worth would be fair to ask for.
And they didn't offer you anything, Sarah, when they let you go?
No, because it was a termination. Okay. It wasn't a resignation or a retirement. I'm 3 years from retirement. So I even asked about early retirement, and because it's a hot topic and the vaccine right now is a really, sticky situation, that was not offered.
Yeah.
So.
Well, here's the thing. I think you can ask for whatever you think is fair. If you want to make it, you want to kind of make them the poster child and go, we're going to go after them for $1 million because of this. That's something you can do. But if you're saying, like, what is reasonable and what do I need, that's going to depend on your financial situation. And, if you're this close to retirement, are you doing okay for retirement? Are you doing okay financially? Do you have an emergency fund?
Yes, we have a 6-month emergency fund. My husband and I together have almost $500,000 in retirement. And so the retirement package at this employer was amazing. They contributed 15% of my income of their money into a 403B. So I've been very blessed that, for 20 years I've had excellent retirement, plus what my husband and I put in, on top of that at the 15% that we do for Baby Step 4.
Yeah. So you guys have...
That's what's hurting.
You have about $500,000 total for retirement between both of you?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like
close to that, yeah.
Both of you will probably need to continue working to make sure you've got a good nest egg for retirement if you're saying it is 3 years away. So make sure you're in control there. But if I'm you, I would ask for a year. I don't know how far you want to push it. As far as the lawyer goes, I personally probably wouldn't. I would say, hey, whatever they're willing to do is fine. But if you want to go further than that, that's going to be a decision you've got to make with the attorney. So, but I would find out what's happening in the area. What are other people asking for? What are they actually getting? And try to get some information.
I would do a little research too, because again, this is a topic that people are dealing with literally as we speak. We took 2 calls about the same thing yesterday. Yeah. So I'm like, it's a new, unprecedented, like that's the word that we've been using.
New ground.
But it is. And I'm like, we're all learning from it, right? We don't, like, there is not this pattern that we can look back over 10 years. Here's what's happened.
Here's what's
what
normal.
You can do, Sarah, I think, is gather information. Obviously talk to your attorney, but I would see what else is happening, because there's other sectors out there that people are leaving because of this exact issue, and to see, okay, what does that look like in the education space? So as much information as you can gather, I think, would be wise.
Well, our question from the day comes from Blinds.com. Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee means even if you mismeasure or pick the wrong color, they'll remake your blinds for free. You get free samples, free shipping, and with the new promos they run every month, you'll save even more. Use promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Garrett in Florida. I know Ramsey Solutions teaches that building capital without ever using credit is better than the best credit score. I've worked hard and been very disciplined and followed the principle. I'm 31 years old with close to $2 million in assets and investments. I have no payment history because my current job provides housing. I want to buy my own home soon. So what is the best way to purchase a house, and what should I do to build up my credit score?
Those are two very different questions. What's the best way to purchase a house without a credit score, and what should I do to build it up? I'm going to tell you the second one you don't need to do at all. There's a process that we talk about here on the show a lot called manual underwriting or a no-score loan, and we've recommended our friends at Churchill Mortgage for years because they are experts at this, and they're one of the good guys out there who can help you do this without a credit score. And Rachel, this isn't theory. I did this.
Yes, that's right.
I got my mortgage without having a credit score because I had paid off my debt and my score became indeterminable. And we actually dug into this very topic on the latest episode of The Fine Print, The Dirty Truth Behind Your Credit Score.
Oh, I love it.
And I
Give
talked
me
to,
some info,
I know,
George.
we got the juice. So I called up apartments all over the country, rentals, and said, hey, I don't have a credit score. Can I rent from you? And they went, yeah, do you have a job? Oh, you're not a criminal? Okay, great. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's not that hard.
Much easier than you think, yeah.
Yeah, there may be a higher deposit, things like that. And then I talked to my friend Seth at Churchill Mortgage, and he explained to me the manual underwriting process, what's entailed. It's a little bit lengthier because it's manual. They have to actually go through your real life and go, all right, you've got utility bills you've been paying on. Here's your W-2s. So there's some real factors involved versus, oh, the bank said I can have $500,000.
Right.
That's never a good way to go about it. So, my man, you've got $2 million in assets at 31. You're crushing it. But here's the deal. Don't build up the credit score. Just use manual underwriting. You can use a place like Churchill Mortgage. There's lots of places that do it. Look around, do your research, and get this mortgage paid off.
Or if you got $2 million, maybe you buy a house in
cash. Who needs a credit score then? Turns out you only need a credit score when you want debt, Rachel.
That's right, George.
Fascinating stuff. Groundbreaking. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Five, 4, 3.
This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. I'm George Kamel. She's Rachel Cruz. And on the line, we've got Jamie in Seattle, Washington. Jamie, I see on my screen, you're debt-free?
I am debt-free.
I love to hear it. Okay, so how much have you paid off?
I have paid off $35,000.
Love it. How long did that take?
3 years.
And what was your range of income during that time?
Well, that's the best part of the story. When I started out, I was completely upside down. I was taking care of my elderly parents, my 2 young sons, all on my own, making about $50,000 to $55,000 a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So 50 to 55 was the range during those 3 years?
Yeah, I started my budget completely upside down. I was sponsored by my aunt and uncle who teach the program, and I'm so grateful. It was really a challenge because I didn't even have enough money to pay all the bills.
Wow.
But with hard work and dedication and commitment, I kept plugging forward. And when I made the decision that I had breathing room and I really needed to tithe at that point, about 3 months into taking that tithe challenge to give back to God, I had my former employer come back to me and say, hey, we really want you back in a consulting capacity. I had started my own business and I had built it up. So I went from making $50,000 a year in my own business to having my own business and having another consulting job and making $150 a year.
Whoa!
Debt free.
Jamie,
that's incredible. So when did you start making 150? Was it towards the end of this journey?
It was actually towards the end of the journey. It was just this last summer, just before summer.
You're a rock star.
That I took that on, and God really blessed me. I felt like when I made the decision to start tithing, he said, hey, you're doing great with what I gave you. Here's some more.
Wow.
So now I get to share the program with my family. I get to share it with my employees. And one of my employees has started the program this month because they've seen the huge change that it's made in my life as a single mom. I'm part of the sandwich generation, trying to take care of elderly parents and young kids. And it takes work, and it's so hard at the beginning, but it is so worth it. And I encourage people to take the risk, be vulnerable, get help, go through the program, because it will change your life like it's changed mine.
Jamie, let me say this. Here's what's impressive to me. It's not that you were making $150,000 and paid off $35,000 in 3 years. You were making $50,000, paid off $35,000 in 3 years, and toward the end of that is you got that $100,000 raise, basically. Which is just it's amazing, and I love the faithfulness of what you've said. Like, you have walked and been faithful with the little, and you put in the sweat and the tears and the grind and the hardship. And I'm sure there were some days that were way harder than others, victories and setbacks, all of it through those 3 years. And it's like that built this character in you, Jamie, really, to know what it takes to win and a level of gratitude. And then you put on $100,000 on top of it toward the end. And it's like, you can handle that. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something so beautiful about that journey, even though I know it was so hard. It's remarkable. So well done.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
What kind of debt was this?
It was, some legal debt, some medical debt, some just poor decisions on trying to, charge things because I didn't have enough money to buy the kids things or to get mom and dad medication that they needed, those kind of things. So, it was pretty much just getting into a pattern of relying on credit cards to fill the gap when I didn't have the cash. But I'm so glad that I started, because especially with, coming out of 2020, it slowed me down a bit, but I didn't stop. I knew immediately, once that snowball started happening, that this was going to change my life drastically. And now on to step 3, I'm already, a third of the way through to my goal. And I'm so incredibly grateful, and I am leaving a legacy to my kids, because my kids are 6 and 4, and they have both already accomplished step 1.
Wow.
And so that's something that I want to pass on to them, because I went from having no idea how to manage money to having so much confidence in the way that I manage my money, and that I give it back to the Lord, and that He has blessed it, and He blesses the hard work that you put into it.
So what happened, Jamie, 36 months ago? Because you had a lot of life happening. Like you said, you were taking care of parents. You didn't have enough money to pay the bills. I mean, you were in a tough spot. So it would have been easy to kind of just give up and say, this is my life and this is how it's going to have to be. But you didn't. 36 months ago, you made a choice. So tell me, what happened then to change everything?
Well, when our youngest was 1, Steve passed away. My partner had passed away.
Oh.
So I was genuinely on my own, and I was terrified and at my wit's end, but I was also in a place of submission where I knew, God, I can't get out of this without you. And my aunt and uncle, Mel and Phil Dameron, came alongside me and said, hey, we want to sponsor you to take this class. We think it'll change your life. Just give us a chance. And it was hard. Like, doing my budget with them, I wept. I was so embarrassed. It's very hard to be vulnerable like that in front of people, and to own some of the poor financial decisions that I was making. But they were so patient and so loving, and were there for me, and were accountability partners for me, and I can't thank them enough.
That's amazing.
You're remarkable, Jamie. I mean, you had someone, your partner, you said the death of him. You're taking care of your parents. You have 2 little kids. I mean, you're remarkable. I mean, that's that's a lot of hard life that you walked through, and yet you came out on the other side choosing to put your time and your energy and your effort into something like this to get you back in control, right? Like there's a level that I'm sure you feel in control of, because how are you feeling now? I mean, for 36 months ago, Jamie's sitting there doing her first budget to now, how do you feel?
It's amazing. I am so grateful to Dave and the program. I'm so grateful I get to share it with others. I feel secure. I'm not constantly terrified or struggling with anxiety. I got to take my kids on vacation this last summer. Yeah. I am getting to give them all the benefits that other people have. I turned a very low-income, single-income into a two-income household, and I feel confident. I feel excited for the future because I know that I'm safe, and especially in the economy that we're struggling in right now, I'm so grateful I did it. And it doesn't matter where you're starting from. It doesn't matter how deep you are in the hole. All you need to do is commit to it. And, God has blessed that commitment in my life. And I just want to share it with other people. Let them know it is so worth it.
Wow. You're incredible, Jamie. They say that having a testimony is great. Getting one sucks. And you've been through it, but now you have an incredible story to share, especially with other single moms, people who have been through some stuff, people who are taking care of their parents. And you can say, listen, you can do this, and I know that because I did it. And so we are so proud of you. We're honored to be able to share your story, and we're just pumped for what's next for you. So we've got a copy of The Legacy Journey. You told me that you want to change the legacy of your kids. You're doing that. You have done that. You will continue to do that. And so we want to send you a copy of that, as well as a copy of the Total Money Makeover. And you can sponsor someone else's journey and take them along and show them that it's possible, that they don't have to live with the stress and anxiety of finances in their life. And we're just pumped for you to pay this thing forward and keep living your life. You ready for this?
Well, thank you so much. I am.
Okay, let's get to it. It's Jamie from Seattle, Washington, paid off $35,000 in 3 years, making $50,000 up to $150,000. Count it down, Jamie. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
I'm debt-free!
What an inspiration.
Amazing. Do you know what's so interesting? And it's happened both debt-free calls and yesterday even. I feel like people get raises.
Yeah.
When they're on a journey and they have a goal, there's something about it that just shifts in your life that I feel like people catch on to.
Yeah, I don't think it's heebie-jeebie. There's just this level where you start to take control and start to manage your money well. You tend to get more.
It's
more
amazing.
pops in your hands. Look at that. What an inspiration, Jamie. Thank you for the call, and congrats on debt freedom. This is The Ramsey Show.
Four, three.
I'm George Camel, joined today by Rachel Cruz. This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. We were having a good time. We're going to keep it going with Ryan in Kansas City. Ryan, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
So I'm trying to figure out what baby step I'm in. I'm currently, I feel like I've paid off a lot of baby step 2, but I'm kind of stuck with a business and trying to figure out the baby steps and how I can apply that in the business world.
Okay, what's your business?
So it's like an animal care facility.
Okay, so boarding and things like that?
Yep.
All right.
Like a veterinarian clinic.
Very nice. And so you've got some debt that's tied to the business?
Correct. I've got debt tied to the business we purchased and the real estate that the business is on. But then on my personal side, all I have is my house and some land that we hope to someday build a house on.
Okay, so you've kind of got two payments going on in your personal life for the mortgage and the land?
Yep.
And then the business debt. What's your household
Correct.
income?
If we combined the business and personal and everything, it's close to $400,000.
Wow, fantastic. Okay, is that mostly from this animal care business?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, it's about $100,000 personal, and then the rest is the business side.
And you signed for this under your name, right? On the business
Correct.
side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is your debt.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to treat this thing, we're going to put it in the debt snowball other than your primary mortgage. And you said you want to keep this land, you want to build on it eventually, right?
Correct.
So when you list out your debts from smallest to largest, what would that look like? What is that smallest debt right now?
I guess my house.
Oh, your house is the smallest.
Yes.
And then what is on the business side? Are we talking $500,000?
So the business side is about $750 with the real estate of $200.
Okay, so $750 total, and the real estate amounts to $200?
Yes.
What's the other part of that? The rest of the $750?
The land, empty land that we have.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, if I'm you, the business debt, while it's important, you've got $400,000 coming in. What are you doing with the excess amount right now? Are you putting some away for retained earnings for your business, to make new hires? What's going on with the excess?
Well, and that's kind of where I was stuck. At first, we were really attacking our baby step 2 with cars, and we're going to really get that. And now that we've kind of got past all that, I didn't, with all COVID and all the different variants of this come out, I don't know how much to keep in there as the so-called emergency fund for a business. And then I really want to start attacking the debt with the money I have saved, because right now it's kind of setting in a business account, and I want to start using it.
Yeah. Well, if your business is in good shape and you've got some retained earnings, I mean, you can attack that mortgage and get rid of your primary residence, and then attack this business debt. If something goes bad with the business, I mean, you could sell that property, right?
Correct.
So you're in okay shape on that side. But your primary residence, I would attack that first, Rachel, and get that out of the way, which is going to hopefully free up a good chunk of money, and you can kind of continue on. You don't really have a lot of consumer debt. There's just a whole lot of real estate going on here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I got a lot in the bank saved, and I just didn't know how much is considered, if I should save like a 3 or 6 month or do a 6 month due to COVID causing a little bit more hesitation.
Sure.
And then what is considered the 6 month, like a skeleton, that's just paying the building, paying the loan, paying utilities.
I would say if you're able to pay whoever's on staff, pay all the bills, if you can keep the whole business running for 6 months and you've got that in savings, you're in a good spot there. Anything beyond that, unless you're trying to make a, upgrade, purchase, make a new hire, that's when you want to make sure that you've got the cash flow and the money set aside to do things like that. So if I'm you, I'm paying off the house first. You've got a fantastic income thanks to this business, so I would use that to your benefit and not get crazy doing upgrades and things like that. I mean, what we teach in EntreLeadership, which is Dave's playbook on how he's built Ramsey Solutions to what it is today, over 1,000 team members, we teach you to run your business debt-free. And so obviously we're already in this thing. We've got some debt happening, but you're not in a terrible situation. There's nothing on fire here. So I would just encourage you to try to get to that point where you can run your business debt-free. And we've got lots of resources over at EntreLeadership. I host the EntreLeadership podcast. Dave and I actually did an episode recently on budgeting for business and kind of this financial piece for business. And inside of EntreLeadership Elite, which is our online membership, we've got a huge video library where we dig into how to run the financials for your business. We've got advisory groups that you can jump into in there where you can be around other business owners virtually in coaching calls, and our coaches here can help you navigate all the challenges of running a business.
When I start thinking about baby step 3, putting money into retirement, we really would like to start doing that more. What income do I base that off? Our income that we currently make, or with the business also?
Well,
So
your
there's
income's your income.
another
If you
thing.
make $400,000 a
That's
year,
true.
and whatever's on your taxes, that's what I want you to be putting
It's your
15%
take home.
away.
Your take home pay. Yep.
Yeah, so if you make
Okay,
that,
just all of it combined.
yes, and so I'd put away 15%. Of course, you've got lots of options as a business owner. If you're self-employed, all those things you can look into solo 401ks and SEPs and all that good stuff. So you're doing great, man. You got a great income on this thing, and you just got to clean up some of this mess with the debt and try to run it debt-free. Way to go! Thanks for the call. Nicole joined us in Los Angeles. Nicole, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How can Rachel and I help?
Hi, Rachel. Well, okay, so my question is I am starting FPU, and I've been contributing with an employer match of 4% to my deferred comp. I know we're not supposed to be investing until baby step 4, so I'm wondering if I should stop the 4% match. I've been doing it since I was 21 years old. I really am not missing that money, but I don't know what the right way is.
Yeah. Nicole, how much debt do you have?
Well, I've been doing Dave-ish for a very long time, and I've paid off $54,000, and I still have $73 and change.
Okay. What is the 73?
Car loan and silly debt, credit cards and nonsense like that.
Yep.
I don't own a home. I have 3 kids. I'm a single mom. My oldest is in college. I've been cash flowing that. And my second is about to start college next year, and that's my challenge.
Okay. And how much do you make a year?
Between 180 and 200.
That's great. What do you do?
I'm a supervisor in law enforcement, and that's
awesome.
with overtime.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, you make a great income, Nicole, but like you said, I mean, you've been making a great income and still in this stagnant place, is what it feels like. And so I think for you, one of the biggest changes that has to happen is something honestly within to say, okay, I'm done messing around with the car loans and the credit cards. And just, it's a little bit just kind of being sloppy, and again, that's not to shame you, but I see this income and I see the debt, and you've already paid off 54, but you still have 73. And so there's something about it, Nicole, that if you just got so focused, which means, yes, pausing the investing, which I know you've been doing since 21, again, and you're not stopping it forever, you're just pausing. And maybe even look, whatever, your car, maybe you sell the car and you look to say, okay, I'm going to clean this up. I'm going to live on a budget, because you have a great income, Nicole. Like, you're going to be able to do a lot, but it's going to take about a year or so to kind of just tighten everything up and to say, okay, I'm going to get rid of the excess. And that may even mean for your kids to say, I'm going to pause the college stuff. But we talk about student loans on here all the time, though, how they can still go to school debt free. But I want you as a woman, as a single mom, to get this stuff under control. But you really have to make this decision. It's no more ish. You got to be all in, and it's going to take some effort. But I'm telling you, within 12 months, you could have this entire thing turned around.
Oh, yeah. It's amazing how when you slow down on the investing side, you can speed up your financial future.
Yeah, and actually live on a budget. You can do this, Nicole. You can live within this.
I love it. Beautifully said. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to our board engineer, Ben Hill, acting producer, Kelly Daniel. We will be back with you before you know it. From now, Rachel Cruz, America, it's been a fun hour. We'll be back with you. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
Three.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where America hangs out to have a conversation about your life and your money. I'm Ramsey personality George Kamel, host of the Fine Print and Entree Leadership podcast, joined today by Rachel Cruz, best-selling author, host of The Rachel Cruz Show, Ramsey personality, all the things. She's a mother. She's
All
a
the
friend.
things.
She's a wife. It's
You know,
great.
get
You know
it
what's
all.
fun, Rachel? A lot of people don't know this. Both of our spouses work here at Ramsey Solutions.
That is true.
I think that's special.
And you and Whitney, y'all met here, right?
We met here, yeah.
Yes.
It's a lovely
There's
tale.
been 2 engagements that I've known of people that I've worked with on the team, like within the last 6 weeks, that have met their spouse here.
Yeah, I've joked. We have our endorsed local providers. I've joked that we need an app that's endorsed love providers. And it's
I'm
like a
not kidding.
matchmaking
It is.
service. Ben Hill is in the booth
Ben Hill is
saying no.
shaking his head no.
No.
Hey, it's pretty great.
It's a real thing. We got a lot of young people here.
A lot of young people.
And we say that we only hire thoroughbreds instead of donkeys. And so a lot of great quality people here at Ramsey Solutions. And so love has been known to be in the air. That's all I'm going to say.
We're just throwing it out there, you know.
So
this could be the love hour. You and I could give marriage dating advice. Should
that would be
it?
fun. Call us up with those questions, 888-825-5225, or just money questions is fine too, but that would be a fun hour. You have the money and marriage event?
We should do like a switch with John and Ken. So we need to find something, like I'll do like fashion, like what's your thing? Like what's your thing that like we could stump two of the other personalities, and we do like a switch theme hour. They got to answer questions of things that we know, and then we got to answer questions that, like, we got to be a
This is the future.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm feeling good about that.
All right, we'll pitch it. We'll pitch it
while
to
Dave's
Dave.
not here.
Dave's not here.
We shall try stuff.
It's so fun. Well, we are starting off this hour with Gavin in San Antonio, Texas. Gavin, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, how are y'all doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
Hey, so I'm going to try to put it into words, but it's going to make more sense as we go along here. But my big question as of right now is I'm a young guy, and I've saved a pretty good amount of money here, and I'm looking to figure out what is the fastest and safest way to go ahead and build this wealth here. And you know, I know we're going to get into the baby steps here, but you know, I do have some questions about them in regards to achieving this goal.
Okay, how young are you?
I'm 24 years old.
What's your household income?
Right now, I make about $80,000 a year.
Okay, and how much wealth have you amassed so far?
I have about 42,000 in just Apple stock. I have another 2,000 in another individual stock, about 11,000 in my Roth IRA, and about 3,000 sitting in the bank. So I think that's roughly about 60.
Okay, and you don't have any consumer debt?
No, sir. I have no debt at all.
And you've got a fully funded emergency fund. It sounds like you have 3,000 in savings.
I have a small one. I have like the $1,000 emergency fund, but not like I wouldn't say I have an established 3 to 6 months one just yet.
Is there a reason why you skipped over that one, or?
To be honest, I kind of I became a fan of y'all just fairly recently, so that's kind of why that worked out that way. I'm actually that's my next step right now is to go ahead and build that 3 to 6 month fund. I'm currently using my GI Bill. I'm a veteran, and I'm going to school for computer science right now.
Very cool. Thank you for your service.
Yeah. Well, Gavin, you've done an incredible job. I mean, you're making $80K. You have a great nest egg here. I mean, and as young as you are, no debt. I mean, like, you really are. I can tell you're motivated, and so I love your question. I would say on a tactical level, I would use some of the stock that you have just to cash out some of it, just to go ahead and just get an emergency fund today. I mean, you could just go ahead and put some of that in a money market account. Along with that $3K, you have $1,000 and you have $3,000 in the bank. I mean, you can combine a little bit of this, take some of that stock out. But I'll say this, Gavin, after, we've been doing this Ramsey Solutions for over 3 decades, helping people build wealth, and you are well on your way for sure to do that. But I think a couple of things get in the way of that, and that can kind of train wreck this for some people. Number one is greed, and number 2 is impatience. And those sometimes go hand in hand. And so my encouragement to you would be that what we have found on our Everyday Millionaires doing this stuff is that being wealthy or getting wealthy, right, building a huge nest egg, it takes a little bit of time, and it's more like a marathon. It's not a sprint. And it's not going to be super cool. It's not going to be these little secrets and these, well, you do this and put your money here and you're going to turn and get this investment. You're going to reinvent all of this stuff. It's actually really boring, Gavin. Like the way we teach it, because the way we do that is because there's a proven process and you want to have a long track record on something to say, hey, this is what we do. So what we have found is people are building their wealth by just traditional investing. So usually in your Roth IRA, which is awesome if your company doesn't match your 401k, but doing these traditional retirement routes is awesome. And then going in and saying, hey, okay, let's look at just a good growth stock mutual funds. Let's look at some other things. So instead of having these single stocks that carry more risk because it's one thing, even though I know it's Apple, right? And you could say Walmart, but there is a level where you're saying, okay, I am putting a lot of my eggs in one basket versus diversifying. Like a good mutual fund would have 90 to 200 stocks. Apple could be included in that, but 90 to 200 companies. And so it's a more conservative approach, but it's one that is going to be able to lower that risk. Now we do say once you're on baby step 7, which means you have no mortgage, you have no payments, then you can take about 10% of your net worth and kind of just have a little bit of fun with that. So whatever that looks like for you. Maybe that's, buying a single stock here or there. It's not something that we advise, though, on the front end by any means. So the wealth building that we teach, it's not super glamorous.
Not the sexiest.
But it works, is what I'm saying. It works. My husband and I, this is what we've done. We've done this for 12 years. We're on baby step 7, and we throw as much money. We max out everything every year, 401k, Roth IRAs. We have another mutual fund we have a Vanguard account. I mean, we have stuff spread around. But I mean, we save money, and then the other turn too, Gavin, I'll just add in, and then George, I'm sorry, you can jump in, but it is the generous piece too, Gavin. I want you to be giving at this point too, because there is something to be said that, yes, building wealth is fun, buying stuff is fun, going on vacations is fun, all of it. But nothing changes you like writing a check for a $10,000 car and buying someone who needs a car just because you can. I mean, there's things like that I want you to weave into your story and your money plan as well.
Yeah. Gavin, do you own a house?
Yeah. So no, currently I'm living with family, and my big thing is that because I'm still in school, and I'm have a kind of a set target date here to graduate.
Yeah.
My theory was that because I'm in San Antonio, it's not exactly the big technology hub.
Oh yeah.
I figured I wanted to be open.
Here's why I asked, Gavin. I want you to have a paid-for house before you jump into some fun times investing. So that would be my next goal if I'm you. That's going to be your fastest path to wealth, is not having a payment, whether it's rent or a mortgage. So that would be my next goal, man. But you're doing great, but just do things in the right order to set yourself up for success. This is The Ramsey Show.
What makes our show unique is that we genuinely care about our listeners. We're intentional about choosing the best advertisers to recommend. Blinds.com is no exception. They offer high-quality window treatments at unbelievable prices, and they make it simple to shop blinds, shades, and interior shutters with easy online ordering, free shipping, and a guaranteed perfect fit. Go to Blinds.com and take advantage of this week's special savings.
5, 4, 3.
Right now, you're probably focused on all the fall stuff you've got to buy, the Halloween candy, the jackets, and the sweaters. But here's what you should start thinking about right now. Christmas. I know. Christmas seems to sneak up on people every year. And when you let that happen, it's so easy to go crazy on overspending, or worse, put Christmas on a credit card. Don't do that. But when you plan ahead with a budget, you'll keep Christmas from getting out of control. And the best way to do that is with our budgeting tool, EveryDollar. Start your Christmas budget now by deciding how much you want to save each month and plug that into your EveryDollar budget so you can pay for Christmas in cash. Then when you start shopping, your every dollar makes it easy to keep up with how much you're spending on gifts. And by the way, it's totally free to get started. Or you can upgrade to a Ramsey Plus membership and get premium features like Bank Sync that allows you to just drag and drop your transactions into your budget and all kinds of custom reports to show you where your money's going. Guys, Christmas is coming. It's not a surprise. This year, you can enjoy the holiday how it should be, stress-free and debt-free. Start budgeting with every dollar by texting the word budget to 33789. That's budget to 33789. Open phones this hour, 888-825-5225. I'm George Camel, joined today by Rachel Cruz. Jared joins us in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Jared, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, guys. How y'all doing today?
Doing great. How can we help?
Well, I got a quick two-part question, but first I got to say, George, I think your idea for the Advanced Love Provider is a fantastic idea.
Yes.
I don't care what Rachel says.
We have one vote for my matchmaking program from Ramsey.
Jared says yes. He's actually going to buy into the idea. Thanks, Jared. You can be the first.
Ben Hill is still in the booth shaking his head. No, don't encourage him. Well, Jared, that's for another day. How can we help today?
Hey, yeah. So I've got a question about some investing. So I'm on baby step 4. And I'm at the stage where I should be putting 15% into my retirement investing. I'm in the Army, so I get the 5% match for my TSP. And my main question is...
Sorry, Jared, speak right into the phone so we can hear you. You're breaking up on us.
Hey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's a little better. So you get 5% match.
Yeah. So the Army offers me the 5% match based on my... based on what I put in. Is that 5% plus if I were to put just 10% in equal to 15, or do I need to put 15 of my own in and then the 5% is just extra?
Yeah, it's an age-old question, and it's a good one. And there's some caveats to this, but when it's just an employer match, we like to look at that as icing on the cake. So I still want you contributing 15% of your household income into a good retirement account and treat that match just as bonus because we don't have full control. We don't know if that's going to change. You might change your employment status down the line, and I want this to be a consistent part of your financial picture.
Sure, that makes sense. And a quick second part was I'm looking at a small re-enlistment bonus in the next couple of months, and I was wondering if that should go toward my current baby step 4, or paying off the house.
All right, so you've got a mortgage as well?
That's right.
Yeah, I would put that towards the house. I mean, as long as you're contributing 15% of your household income, if you've got a bonus coming in like that, you can allocate that and go, hey, we're going to knock down the mortgage a little bit to speed up this process.
Cool. Okay, well, that answers basically both parts of my question, so I appreciate y'all.
Awesome.
Boom.
Jared, thanks for your service.
Yes, thank you so much, man, and thanks for the call. Fantastic. Christina is in Los Angeles. Christina, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, George. Hi, Rachel. My question is, my husband and I are debating whether to purchase a house.
I love a good debate.
Yeah.
What's the debate about?
Kind of not on the... I don't think we can afford it. That's my issue. We live in a one-bedroom apartment. I'm pregnant, so it's a single-family income. My husband's take-home is about $5,000 a month.
Okay.
And we have no debt, thankfully, and we have $70,000 in savings. But the houses around here, for just a 2-bed, 1-bath, is about $380.
Yeah, I mean you're in LA, right?
We're just outside, but it's still just as expensive.
Yeah.
The prices are going up.
Yeah, it's Southern California.
So your take-home pay is $5,000 total, and that's probably not changing anytime soon?
No, it doesn't seem to be changing anytime soon.
Okay. Well, the parameters we recommend, and I'll tell you why we recommend them, is to stick to a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage where the mortgage payment is no more than a quarter of your take-home pay. So in this instance, you'd be looking at trying to get your payment to around $1,250 on a 15-year fixed. Now, if you do the math on that, you're going, okay, well, that means we can afford nothing in the Los Angeles area. And so what that means to me is
exactly what I was thinking.
What that means to me is you just need to buy yourself some patience, and it may mean that we need a bigger down payment. So you said you had 70, right?
We had 70. We don't have enough for the 20 and to avoid the PMI.
Yeah.
My husband wants to do a 30-year fix, but following the steps, he's fairly new to them. I would want the 15-year.
Sure.
But that means staying in our tiny apartment, which is about 450 square feet with a baby on the way.
Yeah. Is there any other move that you could make that is more lateral, that could get you more room? Maybe you're further outside of the city. Where's his work in proximity to all this?
Well, he was commuting in downtown LA, and the commute was killing him.
He works in downtown LA.
He was. He found a new job closer, but it's the same pay. So we'll be saving on transportation, but we really don't want him to commute anymore.
Yeah.
It was just too rough.
Yep. And this is one of the hard things, I feel like, depending on where you live, because there's just certain parts of the country, that it's going to be more expensive. And so the reason we have these parameters, and we always kind of laugh, not to poke fun of California, but we're always like, just because you live in California doesn't mean you're exempt from math. So the formula still works no matter where you live, is what George is saying. It's either going to just take more time. And how old are you guys?
We're 34, 35.
Okay.
We're having our first child.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on expecting. That's very exciting. Very, very exciting. So yeah, I mean, I would always say you don't have one or two. It's not like we can buy a house, we can't buy a house, and we have to stay in this one bedroom, and that's it. You have other options. So you guys, I would shop around, and even if it adds an extra 15, 20 minutes to go and rent a 2-bedroom, give yourself a little bit more space. If it's in the budget and you're able to, spread out a little bit more if you can, especially with that baby coming. And then you guys have a game plan to say, okay, you know what? Our goal is in the next, I don't know what it is for you guys. Maybe it's 5 years. Maybe it's 8 years that we're going to buy a home. But because of the part of the country you're in, it is more expensive. And again, you guys are making, you're making $60,000, which is great. But again, equal to the standard of living and the expenses in somewhere like Southern California, it goes quickly. That money does. So you guys want this house when you decide to purchase, because I always encourage home ownership to get to a point where you guys can do this, because it's just a great investment. I think it's something that's really wise to put your money towards. But you guys, it needs to be a blessing, not a curse. And when you stretch yourself so thin, it starts to be that curse. So set yourself up and just have patience. And listen, if you're renting, again, even if it's for 5 more years, you're not throwing money down the drain. You're setting yourself up to be wise, but it's going to take a lot of patience, Christina. And I know starting a family and all of that, it's going to make you want to have a home even that much more. But listen, let the money and the numbers be there. And again, I hate to say it, you guys aren't exempt from math, but it does kind of stink when you talk to someone who's in Miami or up in the Northeast or Southern California, because it is what it is. The real estate is just, it's more expensive.
Christina, pop over to RamseySolutions.com and click on Mortgage Calculator. That's what I was doing over here, just to try to see where you guys would need to be at. And it looks like you just need to keep saving up that down payment. I know $70,000 is amazing. You might need $120,000. You might need $130,000 in order to get a house in your area that's within your budget. You can also have your husband listen to our Fine Print episode, Is Now the Worst Time to Buy a House? Rachel Cruz was featured on there, and she talks through the green lights of what it would take to get into that house. So it's the perfect episode for him to check out. You can go to fineprintpodcast.com and search for that episode, listen to it with him, and maybe it'll slow him down and go, all right, you're right. We got to do things the right way so the house is a blessing, not a curse. This is The Ramsey Show.
Six, 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Kamel, host of the Fine Print and EntreLeadership Podcast, joined today by Ramsey personality and best-selling author Rachel Cruz. Rachel, we've had a good show so far.
We have. It's been great. It's been fun hosting with you, George.
You know, we have a special product benefit here at Ramsey Solutions where each team member, this is pretty cool, gets $200. I'm going to call them Ramsey bucks that we can use to get our products at a discount. And I was so excited about this. My wife probably isn't listening, so I can say this. I want to get her a Rachel Cruz wallet, and it's finally on there.
Is
the
it
team has
on
been
the
waiting.
Product benefits?
So our team can now get we get no discount. We're not special. But I'm so excited because you just released a new flavor, if you will.
I did.
You have the tan, the camel,
That's right.
and then we have the black, and now a brand new one.
Yes, the classic brown of the Rachel Cruz wallet, which inside has the envelopes for your cash to do the envelope system. It has great places to put your cards, membership, debit cards. There's an area to put your change if you need that. And it's genuine leather, brown. It's the classic brown, the timeless brown that all of you have been asking for. This is the one color people are like, will you do a brown? Will you do a brown? So we released it.
In 50 years, this color will still be in.
That's right.
You can count on that.
So we released it earlier this week. It'll ship beginning of November, first week of November. So if you want it for the holidays, make sure you buy it. It's a great gift to help people get on track and to work the plan. But it's beautiful. Make your
really
budget
is.
beautiful. That's
You know
I
what?
like to say.
I'm going to get one for my mom, too, because I just realized she has the old school Rachel Cruz wallet. And I think she deserves an upgrade.
She does. These are, yes.
But these are beautiful. They're made by our friends at Join.
Yes.
A beautiful organization doing incredible work.
They're fabulous. Yep, they're wonderful.
Well, Mama Camel, she's probably listening. She listens to every show I'm on.
Does
it's really
she?
Sweet. She does. It's so cute. She'll text me during the breaks, comment on my wardrobe and how I'm doing. It's great. Great to have a fan out there.
George,
so, Mom, if you're listening, your
Miss
Christmas
Camel,
present.
you're amazing. What would she make us when we would
Baklava.
Baklava. She would make
homemade baklava
and give it to the team. It was so good, man. I miss those days of we would travel.
Remember those days?
We would do we would be gone. I feel like all the time, traveling to cities, doing events.
We would
hanging
do like
out with
7
Mrs. Camel.
city, like money and marriage tours, and we would do Smart Conference and Smart Money.
Man, I hope we get back to that.
We'll
2022, we're looking for you. Can
It's
you
gonna
believe
be
it's
our
almost
year.
2022?
No, it hurts my brain to think
2021. It still feels like 2020. Like I feel like 2021 didn't happen.
Remember like the year 2000? Like
No.
we were basically kids and we were like, it's going to be 2022 one year. And now it is. We're getting old.
I know. Man, it's been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot.
Well, open phones this hour. 888-825-5225. Laura joins us in Miami, Florida. Laura, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you both. And speaking of getting older, that ties into my question.
Perfect. What a segue.
Right? I'm in my early 50s. I started saving for retirement a little late, about 10 years ago. And I recently left a job where I was contributing 18% plus a 5% match. And then I had my Roth on the side that I was contributing to follow my passion, which I did and I love. But now I work for the state, and I can only contribute 3% to my retirement. Now, there's a choice between a pension and a self-directed, but I've listened to Dave long enough to know to do the self-directed. But they won't let me contribute any more than 3%. So I do have my Roth, but that doesn't quite get me up to my 15%. So I'm wondering, is there any other tax benefit type thing where I can put some more money for my retirement?
I want to dig into this 3% max. I haven't seen that where they max you out at 3% contributions.
Yeah, I called them and they said it's a Florida statute. And I said, but how are people supposed to retire on 3%? Well, that's the statute. And I think they kind of want to push you towards the pension.
This is very
That's
interesting.
my guess.
Yeah, I want
and
you
I've
to
never heard it talked about.
do a lot of research on this because, I mean, the IRS laws are very different. I would imagine federal would trump the state laws, but I would dig into it, and you can reach out. Do you have a good financial advisor in your corner?
I do.
Okay. I want to make sure you have that. We obviously have them, SmartVestor pros all around the country, but I want them to dig into this, to look into the options, because in your 50s, there are some great ways to catch up. So the IRS lets you contribute more than the normal amount as you enter your 50s and head towards retirement, but I don't understand why a state employer would want their employees to be broke.
I know. It's crazy.
So you said you've got the 3%.
I've made several phone calls.
3% into this 401k? Is that what it is?
And they give me a 3% match.
Okay. And then on top of that, you said you're maxing out your Roth IRA.
Yes.
And then what?
I also have a non-retirement mutual fund, so I'm wondering if I should just put extra into that.
Yeah, that would be the next place to go if you've maxed out all of your retirement kind of tax-sheltered investment vehicles. You can go into taxable investments and just a brokerage account, which will be obviously taxed at whatever your income tax rate is. But I want you to dig into this. I don't like this idea. I mean, if I'm you and you've still got a decade to work, I'm switching employers if it means I can't contribute more than 3%.
Laura, how much do you make? Is it an income issue because you make a certain amount, or is it just a thing within?
I actually took a pay cut, so no, it's not that I'm they always tell me it's a Florida statute. That's that's what I get, and when I look it up, I see that too. But I've never heard it talked about on the show, so I had to call in.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you did. Well, I would suggest for sure getting that financial advisor or one of our SmartVestor pros to dig in, because they're going to know, because I mean, state to state, there are things that differ for sure. So they're going to know specifically what's going on for you in your area and to give you other options. And so, you know, there's things like a backdoor Roth for when you reach a certain income. I mean, there's other variations here, again, to get that tax sheltered plans, which I think is key, especially for your age. But if not, then yes, anything in a good just growth stock mutual fund would be another great place to put it, because it just has one with a good long track record, and what the market's doing now, you know, it's doing well.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Laura. Pulling for you here. I don't know what's going on in Florida. This is crazy. I'm trying to Google it over here. I'm all kinds of confused. But definitely look into that with your financial advisor. See what your options are, because I want you to be able to retire with dignity. Gina joins us in Nashville, Tennessee. Gina, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, George and Rachel. How are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh, good, thanks. So I'm employed right now, and I want to take out about $20,000 out of my 401k to pay off about $2,000 in federal back taxes and have an emergency fund, because I haven't been keeping a job very well ever since we moved out to this area from California last year. And I'm also working on paying down my student debt. So I wanted to know if you think that this is a bad idea for me to hit it this way.
Yeah, if I had a giant buzzer on this desk that could go, I would hit it right now, but I don't, so I'll just make the mouth noise. Gina, it's a bad move, and I'm glad you called before you make this move. We never, ever advise anyone to pull money from the 401k, because you're unplugging all of the hard work that you've put into it, that compound interest is doing for you, and there's another way to do this. You can clean up this mess and get this emergency fund in place with your income that you have. So what is your household income?
Well, right now it's pretty much my husband's, and it's about $30,000 a year. We literally have no money, and these back taxes, federal back taxes, over my head. I need to get them cleaned up. So would you consider taking out a lesser amount, like $5,000 or so? I mean, I'm willing to take the hit. I'm 60. So, you know, I don't mind just incurring the taxes as income just to get this off my back.
And how much is the IRA? How much is that again? Did you say?
It's around $2,000. That's with penalties and interest.
Gina, you can do this. You go drive Uber Eats, work. I mean, do anything you can to make money. Do not take money out of that 401k. It's $2,000. You can do it, but it does need to be the very first thing. Whenever you have IRS debt, that's the very first thing you pay off. But Gina, you guys can do this. You need to get this income up, and it is possible. People are hiring everywhere right now. There's a shortage of labor, so go
swallow your pride, get any job you can, and get yourself in a good financial situation. Of the day comes from Jeremiah 29:11. For For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Lily Tomlin said the road to success is always under construction.
That's
I like
a good
that.
one.
I like that. Rachel Cruz joins me this hour. I'm George Kamel. This is The Ramsey Show, and we are taking your calls. Ann joins us in New York City. Ann, welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Thank you. How are you both doing?
Doing great. How can we help?
I called you guys because I just wanted to know, I'm a little confused whether I should buy a car with cash or using a car loan.
Where's the confusion coming from?
So the confusion is because of the COVID situation and everything. My husband had lost his job, and till for like at least 10 years, we managed to ride with one car. But now the new job that he got is going to be requiring to travel to his workplace, which is going to be, it doesn't need to be right now, but in the coming months, maybe in the next 2-3 months. So we were trying to buy a car, but just confused what to do.
How much is this car going to cost?
The one that I have right now is an old one, so we were trying to buy a new one.
Oh, brand new car.
Yes, just because the one that I have is kind of like on its last leg.
How much do you have in savings, Ann?
Right now, 100,000.
100,000 in savings.
That's great.
Okay. Do you have any debt?
Except for mortgage, nothing.
Amazing, Ann.
Wow, you guys have done really well.
We got a real easy answer for
Thank you.
Ann. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Pay with cash. And I would say that whether you have $100,000 or $1,000.
That's what I wanted to do, but just the confusion part came up because of the previous situations we had where the job was lost and everything.
Yes, which I understand. Absolutely.
So you're saying, hey, I want to keep liquid cash in case something happens.
Right.
But you guys have plenty of money. I mean, what is 3 to 6 months of expenses for you guys add up to?
With the mortgage and everything, it would come up to, I would say, like 30,000.
Okay, so that means you have 70,000 to play with here. And the other side, you said brand new car, and I don't like that because we don't recommend you get a brand new car unless you're a millionaire where you can take the hit on depreciation. Are you guys millionaires?
No.
Okay. So if I'm you, I'm going to go look for maybe a 3-year-old car, 4-year-old car in that same range. I mean, you guys can still afford a good car. What's your household income?
The household income right now with the new job, everything is going to be almost 9,000.
9,000 a month?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great.
This is
and
great.
you're in a great position. I mean, and you think about it, the car, it's to get you to point A to point B. A great used car will do that. It's totally fine. You have a good amount of money. You guys can you don't have to get a $5,000 car. I mean, you can spend a little bit there and get a new car for you, and even look at, and I don't want you to spend all 70,000 on 2 cars by any means, but you have enough to cash flow. Because here's where I would go, Ann, in your mind. I understand the mindset. Okay, I could take out a loan and have more cash available in case something happens. But here's the deal: if something happens, like a job loss again, you're gonna have a car payment. And if you go get 2 new cars, I mean, the average car payment's around $556 a month on a new car. So if you guys just theoretically went out and got 2 brand new cars, you're gonna have $1,000. Yeah, I know you wouldn't, but just go there. You're at $1,000 cars, a payment for cars with no income, and then you're having to dip into the emergency fund anyways, that fund to go and pay off debt. So when you don't have debt, you have no bills, you have no risk. So if you go and use some of this money to go and buy a new car or 2 new cars, and by new car to you, used, but if something happens with the job, you have no bills and you have 6 months worth of an emergency fund in the bank. Does that make sense? Like that should all give you more peace of mind than having a car payments, which ups the risk.
Yeah.
But it's a great question, Ann, especially if you're new to this, but we will never recommend, again, even if you have $1,000 in the bank, we're not going to recommend taking out a car loan, because also when you look at just the math too, and for me, other debt people they justify, whether it's like student loans. Well, you know, I'm investing in myself, like, right? Like you hear all these things, but for a car loan, it is so hard for me just mathematically when people take out a car loan, because I'm like, you are taking out a loan, you're paying interest on an asset that is going down in value. And so by the end of the car loan, the car is worth less than half of what you bought it, and you paid, I think on average, I think it's close to $8,000 or $9,000 on top of what the original was. So like just the math of it, I want you to look at it. It should just kind of make you go, whoa, like you'd rather just pay for it, be done. And there's something about it. I have some friends, and they've always just done car loans. They've always had, you know, that's what they've done, and they had to get a new SUV. And she was like, Rachel, we're gonna just pay for it. Oh, boy. And I was like, that's great. You should just pay cash. And so a few months ago we were talking about it, and she was like, I can't tell you how good it feels to just have no payments on a car. She was like, I mean, it's unbelievable. She's like, I never would have thought it would have felt that great, because they always had the money to pay for a car. She was just like Anne. She had the money, but they just chose to get a car. But there is something about at the end of the month, you're not paying to something sitting in your car. Like, it's done. It is done. And you get to look in the windshield versus the rearview mirror with your money.
And with that new car situation, everyone's always like, well, it's a new car. It's just way safer. I'm like, well, when you drive it off the lot, it's a used car, and it's just as safe. So a 3-year-old car is going to do just fine. I have an 09, and I've had no problems.
Yes.
It's very old.
You know, and I'll tell you, I'm like, you know, especially those of you on Baby Step 2, we take this call a lot on the show of having to replace a car. Because there's a truth that, if you have, you know, we call it a hoopty around here, but you have a car and it keeps breaking, and there is a point that you're spending more on the repairs than what it's worth. Like, there is a point, yes, you need a new car to you. But I'm like, you can go on Craigslist right now. I mean, you can do anything, and you can get a great $5,000-$6,000 car.
Oh yeah.
And you don't have to spend.
My car was $6,000.
Yes.
I'm very happy with it. Still drive it today.
Yes, I mean, and even less than that you can do. But I'm like, there are great options out there, and cars. It is that thing. It takes you to point A to point B, but we've gotten in this thing of like, we just love cars in our country. We love it, and they're not bad. New cars aren't bad, but you just want to be in a financial situation where you can take the hit.
Let's take one quick one here from David. David, let's get right to it. What's your question?
Hey, y'all. It's Privilege. I'm wondering about rolling over an old 401k to start a Roth, and right now, my wife and I have life insurance through Primerica, and we've been talking with them about opening a Roth with them.
Is that a whole life policy?
It's term.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And just, you know, stuff I've seen digging, it's back and forth, like Primerica is an MLM, or, you know, they say they have no management fee. They just have an upfront fee. You know, on paper, I don't know. When I talk to them, it makes sense, but I'm just kind of unsure if I should invest with that kind of company, or if I should do my own thing through Vanguard, or, you know, maybe I'll say SmartVestor with Ramsey. Just kind of where to start to open a Roth.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I mean, for sure, my first step would just sit down with the SmartVestor Pro. And there's someone that we just recommend. They don't work for us, but they are investment professionals in areas all over the country that follow the baby steps, follow what we do. Because here's the rub always when it comes to insurance, investing, all of that, is you never want them so close, right? I know that's not a wholesale, or a whole life policy, but to have those separate, and I would get a second, third opinion for sure, and talk to a SmartVestor Pro, because if you're able to pay the taxes, you'll be able to roll some of that over to either a traditional IRA, but if you can pay the taxes, then the Roth is great to do. But you do want someone, I think, in your corner to help, because there's a lot of intricacies when it comes to doing all of that.
I took one yesterday. A financial advisor was trying to get him to switch from term to whole life, and I was like, oh, well, does he sell whole life? The answer was yes. And I was like, drop him now. Yeah, good question, David. Definitely connect with a SmartVestor Pro at RamseySolutions.com, and they can help you do things the right way. That's what I did when I rolled over an old 401k, and they set me up real nice and helped me understand what I was doing. That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to Ben Hill, operating the board, Kelly Daniel, Rachel Cruz, my co-host, and you, America. It's been a fun show. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with you before you know it. This is The Ramsey Show.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even send clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.